It's unclear if that was to keep people away or to prevent her from fleeing. Now, there are conflicting reports out there about how supportive Melania intends to be toward her husband during his legal fights. At Mar-a-Lago, it's an Easter miracle. The marriage has risen, or the check has cleared. As you can see, their table was roped off. And re-election campaign. One insider claims Melania is not now or hasn't recently taken part in her husband's political events. It's not comfortable for her. Meanwhile, another source says they had a major talk and she has agreed to be on board.
Breaking news. Melania Trump's face muscles have gone on strike. At least that's what Kimmel and Colbert think after watching her latest public appearances. This comedy king served up a montage of Melania's "get me out of here" expressions that'll have you snorting coffee through your nose. Stick around to see how they turned the First Lady's frowns upside down. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Jimmy Kimmel's been at it again, folks, and this time he's taking aim at the First Lady's frowny face. You know how some people wear their heart on their sleeve?
Melania Trump made a rare appearance in compliance with Section 3, subsection 2.7 of her prenuptial agreement, and look at the way these two lovebirds interact with each other. Their chemistry, it's positively smoldering.
A second Hitler. How does that make you feel? Because you know him better than anyone.
Correct. It's terrible. He's not Hitler, and all of his supporters, they're standing behind him because they want to see country successful.
That night at Mar-a-Lago, and reports say that Melania has been so reluctant to re-enter public life that the former president had to beg her to be seen in public with him. You know, ever since leaving the White House 2 years ago, we've heard very little from former First Lady Melania, but lately her name's been back in the news, though mostly just her name, because she was notably absent from both her husband's arraignment in New York as well as from his speech. You know it's serious. Usually he only begs for 11,000 more votes in Georgia. But on Easter Sunday, she did finally make an appearance with the ex-president, having a very public brunch with him.
Well, Melania wears her misery on her mug, and Kimmel's not letting it slide. The late-night funnyman kicked things off with a montage of Melania's greatest hits. And by hits, we mean those times she looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. It was like watching a silent movie starring the world's most reluctant actress. From forced smiles that screamed, "help me," to eye rolls that could power a small city, Melania's face was telling a story her words never could. As the clips rolled, you could almost hear Melania's inner voice. Is it 2024 yet?
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
She greets him like he made a delivery to her art gallery. This appearance, it was as if they caught her in a glue trap at Saks Fifth Avenue and dragged her there.
And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today.
Can I trade places with one of those Christmas trees I pretended to like? It was comedy gold, people. Kimmel zoomed in on her eyes, and let me tell you, they were screaming louder than a teenager at a Justin Bieber concert. But instead of "baby, baby, baby," it was more like "save me, save me, save me." Now, body language experts have been having a field day with Melania's appearances. They're probably the only people more excited about her public outings than Kimmel's writers. These experts are like, see how her left eyebrow twitched? That's code for "get me out of here."
Seems contradictory unless they mean on board a plane back to Slovenia. So, here's the thing. Will Melania be standing by her husband, and will she start appearing in public again? Here to tell us in public. Okay, so you've been enjoying life outside the White House?
Absolutely. It is so good to get away from Washington and get back to normal life, spending time with my family, enjoying roped-off brunches at my live-in golf.
Meanwhile, the rest of us are wondering if we're watching the First Lady or a hostage video. Oh, but here's the kicker. Kimmel turned Melania's frowns into a comedy goldmine. He transformed her facial expressions into a silent movie of misery. It was like Charlie Chaplin meets the Real Housewives of Washington, D.C. You half expected to see title cards pop up saying things like, "I should have stuck to modeling," or "I miss Trump Tower," and just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Kimmel hit us with a zinger about Melania's internal monologue. He quipped, "I bet she's thinking, I signed up to be a trophy wife, not a political prop." Ouch, that's gotta sting more than the spray tan on Donnie's face. Well folks, it looks like Kimmel and Colbert have been up to their old tricks again. This time, they've got their hands on something juicier than Trump's well-done steak, Melania's supposed secret texts. Now, before you start yelling fake news, remember this is late night comedy, not CNN. Kimmel kicked things off by reading a text from Melania to her hairdresser. "Can you make my hair big enough to hide in?" he quipped. I mean, who hasn't wanted to disappear into their hairdo during an awkward family dinner? But when your family dinners are state events, that's a whole new level of hide me in my highlights. Not to be outdone, Colbert chimed in with a leaked email to Melania's travel agent. "One-way ticket to anywhere but here, please." He read in his best Melania impression. "Looks like someone's been studying at the school of Melania's squints and frowns. I hear it's a very exclusive institution." But wait, there's more. These late-night jokesters weren't done with their Melania material. They went on to speculate about her escape plans. Kimmel suggested she might disguise herself as a White House tour guide to make a run for it, because nothing says incognito like a supermodel in a polyester uniform, right? Colbert, never one to be outdone in the absurdity department, suggested a more out-of-this-world escape plan. Mars, anyone? I guess when you're married to the very stable genius, even another planet seems like a reasonable option. But the joke that really got Trump's Twitter fingers twitching? According to our late night heroes, it was the one about Melania's dream of being trapped in the Obama portrait. Why? Because it's the one place in the White House where Donald wouldn't go. Ouch. That's gotta burn more than a tanning bed malfunction. Now, before we get too carried away with all this comedic gold, let's remember that Melania's got her own thoughts on all this attention. In a recent interview, she expressed frustration over the media's focus on her past modeling work. "Why has the media chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human form in a fashion photo shoot?" she asked. Well, Melania, when you're married to a guy who thinks kofef is a word, people tend to look for meaning anywhere they can find it. Kimmel and Colbert aren't just cracking jokes about Melania's frowny faces for the heck of it. Nope. These late-night jokesters are carrying on a tradition as old as kings and queens. Remember those court jesters who'd make fun of the royals right to their faces? Well, our modern-day comedy kings are doing the same thing, just with more hair gel and fancy suits. When Kimmel quips about Melania's "I'd rather be anywhere else" expression, he's not just being mean, he's poking the powerful with the sharpest stick in his comedy toolbox. And Colbert? His Melania jokes are like little truth bombs wrapped in laughter. It's not all fun and games though. These guys are using humor to say what a lot of people are thinking but are too scared to say out loud. So next time you see Kimmel or Colbert roasting the Trumps, remember, they're not just comedians, they're like modern-day court jesters, using laughter to speak truth to power. And in the world of political comedy, that's worth its weight in gold-plated toilets.